Well, thanks for sitting down for an interview. First question, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Nick Schrock, and I'm an engineer at Facebook. I've been an engineer at Facebook for about 6.5 years. I effectively work on our internal software stack. So founded a group called Product Infrastructure, which has really grown and transformed, and that's the group that produces React and a bunch of our internal abstractions.
So what was your talk on today?
So my talk was again about it was in general about GraphQL. One is about what it actually means to have a GraphQL server, and two, effectively an extended demo of our new tool that we just open source called Graphical, which is effectively an IDE for GraphQL, and also describing how you can overlay GraphQL on top of an existing REST system, and using Graphical to illustrate that.
There's been a lot of interesting sort of attempts to build out a sort of a wrapper around REST APIs and sort of simplify that for developers. There was the same in the XML space many years ago. What's different about GraphQL?
Yeah, I guess we don't claim that being able to query a middle tier in this fashion is the general idea of it is not new or novel. Again, a lot of these things are about timing and taste. One of my things I always say is like, listen, Google is not the first search engine. There are about 18 search engines before that. It didn't make it, so they shouldn't have tried, or it wasn't novel. So, this is a purely qualitative judgment, but we kind of believe that between the very front-end developer-centric philosophy of our language combined with the tooling possibilities, that we've kind of, nailed a sweet spot, or that's the hope.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess REST APIs is a different abstraction as well in the front-end development philosophy. So a lot has changed in web development. What about the broader ecosystem around GraphQL and React, and where do you see that going in the next little while?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest challenges for Facebook is a lot of these individual technologies are very interesting in and of them on their own. But what we're really starting to see is that we're cohering this into a cohesive developer ecosystem, and especially for mobile development, because mobile development and the shift to mobile generally was an incredible leap forward for consumers. I think that's clear. Everyone uses a smartphone every day. They've unlocked incredible companies and services, and they're used by billions of people. However, for developers, it was like a 10-year step backwards. You have multiple proprietary platforms to deal with. The tooling is very, in my opinion, substandard. You can no longer download code, and all of these other issues. I think that Facebook and the open source community with React Native, the JS abstraction built on top of it, GraphQL, and all these tools can really move mobile development back to where it should be, and not sacrifice quality. Have downloading code, advanced abstractions, better tooling, an open platform, not two proprietary platforms where you're locked into a specific vendor. And I just think that's incredibly exciting. And if you think about React as a horizontal platform, which unites programming models on top of all these proprietary platforms without sacrificing quality, we conceptualize GraphQL as a similar thing, a horizontal platform across all of varying backends. And between this, we really think we can move development forward a lot.
So since GraphQL was open sourced, what has been some of the interesting progress or things that have happened in that time period?
Yeah, it's been really great. The initial release of GraphQL really wasn't a standalone out of the box service. So it was more about the idea and also some base JavaScript code used to implement it. So we really didn't know what the reaction would be because it's kind of an odd thing to release in a way. But we've been extremely happy. My personal goal is to have a limited set of people extremely engaged on it, people who get it, in order to give feedback on the spec, make it still feel like an intimate community. And on that scale, it's been great. We have a really high quality Ruby implementation. There's someone working on a .NET implementation, Go, Scala. So we have a wide variety of languages. We've gotten great feedback. And also people have also been building these additional libraries on top of it. So we have a super engaged community. We have a Slack. It's going really well, and I'm really looking forward to kind of the next stage, which is to more productize GraphQL so that it's more easy to use out of the box for someone who isn't invested in building tooling.
So in terms of the next sort of release of GraphQL, what might we be seeing?
Yeah, so effectively we've been kind of slow rolling a lot of the stuff we're releasing. So we've open sourced GraphiQL, which is our IDE-like tool. We've open sourced an example REST wrapper. I think we're working on a kind of out-of-the-box solution where you can stack GraphQL on top of parse. And I think we will bundle that up into a release that will be coming in the next few months. There's still a ton of work to do. We want to support other languages. But the one I'm really excited for is GraphiQL, because I believe that is the tool where the system kind of sells itself. You can sit a developer in front of a computer and point at it and type some things and, do you want that? Like, do you need that? And the answer is yes, rather than this kind of theoretical idea in the spec.
So where do you see the state of development, say, in mobile in 2 years?
It's always hard to say. 2 years is a long time in software, but React Native is I think what should be the crown jewel of Facebook's open source offerings, because it really is transformational. And in 2 years, I think you should have, it's certainly, I view it kind of like the Tesla of mobile development, meaning when Elon speaks to his company, it's never about we're going to take over the entire industry. It's we're going to set a new standard for the entire industry. So what I hope is that there's a large set of users, both large and small, of React Native, but I would really hope is that the proprietary platform providers, i.e. Microsoft, to a lesser extent, Google, and Apple, have all reacted to this, so to speak, reacted to this technology and have built competing technologies that are aligned with the same values. So in 2 years, I really hope that has happened.
All right, last question. So there's been in some spaces a move to omnichannel applications where you have your web, your mobile web, and your apps for the different app stores. Is there something in the React universe that might sort of allow a company to target or share code across a React Native plus just React web applications?
Oh, absolutely. So kind of the prime example of this is that we have released our mobile ads manager on to the App Store, and I don't think we've released the Android one yet, but don't quote me on that. I'm not in the ads organization. However, they are using the same code base. They're both on React Native, and 87% of the JavaScript is shared. So that which you can render onto pure business logic, you can share across both platforms, and where the views or the underlying systems that you interact with differ greatly, you use different stuff. So our motto is actually, learn once, write anywhere. I think we should maybe change it to write once, shake, and run anywhere.
All right. Thanks a lot.